This is Minute Ball. At 7'7", he was the largest player who has ever played in the NBA. But how tall can NBA players get? Spoiler alert, there will never be a player above 8 feet. And do you need to be tall for the NBA?
Irving stops. Hey, Curry, way downtown. Punch it home, LeBron.
The truth about height in the NBA is, it matters. But do you really need to be tall to reach the highest basketball league? Nope, but it helps. Later on in the video, we're gonna take a look at giants like Yao Ming, Tacko Fall or newly drafted Victor Wembanyama. So make sure to watch until the end. Tall players simply have a huge advantage on both ends of the court. First and foremost, height grants them an undeniable presence on the court. Towering over defenders, they can easily shoot over opponents while no one will be able to block their shot. Oh, and we haven't even talked about rebounding yet. Those long arms are like vacuum cleaners, sucking up every missed shot within a 5-mile radius. If you're a smaller player, good luck trying to grab a board against a 7-footer. Furthermore, their huge wingspan also makes them more of a threat on defense. Giraffe-like NBA players are great rim protectors. It's harder to shoot over them or to find opening passing lanes. If you try to dunk on a guy like Dikembe Mutombo, he will just block your shot and hit you with the iconic finger wag. Have you ever played against a guy a feet taller than you? Then you know what I'm talking about. The average NBA player is 6'7" tall, and there's a reason for that. Even when doing nothing, a tall guy takes so much space that you can never ignore him. Moreover, more height usually means more weight, which means more force. This is one of the reasons why Shaquille O'Neal, for example, was so dominant. At 7'1" and 325 pounds, very few people were able to withstand Shaq when he attacked the rim. So we talked about the benefits of height for NBA players, but what does that mean? Well, height is important, but it isn't everything. There are many small guys who thrive off of their explosiveness and agility. To explain this, let's look at some examples. Quiz time. Who was the shortest player in the NBA? Got your answer? It's Muggsy Bogues, who played in the league at a height of 5'3". Muggsy was known for his speed and agility on the court. While people saw his height as a weakness, he turned it into a strength by suddenly disappearing during a play only for you to realize he stole the ball from you and is already halfway down the court. Was a 7-foot giant supposed to keep track of a 5'3" speedster with elite ball control and court awareness? Another NBA legend who is on the shorter side of players was Allen Iverson. He was listed at 5'11", but his accomplishments far outreach his height. Iverson is an 11 times All-Star, a 4-time scoring champ, and has won an MVP title. Like many smaller players, he flourished because of his handles and speed. AI was able to cross over anyone, especially the big fellows. Even Michael Jordan once got a taste of that.
Iverson has Jordan. The crowd is into it. Allen shakes free. Gets.
Shorter players usually have an advantage when it comes to speed, agility and explosiveness. This is what they live off. They need to be faster in order to compensate for their height. So on offense, short players can absolutely thrive. Maybe they shoot better, or maybe they use their handles to get to the basket. Good attackers always find a way to score their points. The problem though starts on defense. Most short players are not good defenders simply because of their height. They're being shoved away more, they can grab less rebounds, can stop lobs, and have no choice when a taller player is dunking other than fouling. This problem is usually dealt with by matching small players against other small players. But if the enemy team only has above 6'5" players on the court, there is no simple solution. In summary, short players can make it to the NBA, but it's definitely harder. Taller players simply have an advantage, which is why there are so many in the NBA. Alright, we have discussed the height advantage and small guys who did it, but the question still remains how tall NBA players can get. To find an answer, let's take a look at the general height limit of humans. Biologically speaking, around 9 feet should be the limit. There is a certain law which partly explains this limit, the square cube law. To put it simply, this law says that as a shape grows taller and taller, its volume increases at a much greater pace. If you had a 1 meter tall cube and it grew 10 times taller, its area would grow 600 times and its volume would grow 1000 times. So if you're 10 times larger in height and still shaped like a typical human, meaning that your shape and proportions remain the same as they presently are, you would need to either have a skeleton made of something much stronger than bones, or you would need bones that are monstrously thick, in much different proportions than our long, typical human bones. Even if you solved the bone and muscle strength problem, there would still be a whole host of other issues. For example, your heart wouldn't scale up fast enough to keep pumping blood throughout such a large body. High blood pressure would typically affect the legs. The sheer volume of blood in the arteries would burst blood vessels or cause varicose ulcers. Ultimately, this is where the 9 feet limit comes from, because a typical human body couldn't handle anymore if the proportions stay the same. But this doesn't fully answer the question, how tall can NBA players get? Very large guys usually have problems. They feel pain in certain areas, their bones can't handle their body and weight, and they're just not as dynamic as normal sized guys. The tallest man alive right now is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪𝙩 at almost 8'3". The thing is that he needs crutches to walk normally, so I wouldn't say that he's able to play in the NBA. The tallest active player in the NBA right now is Boban Marjanovic at 7'4", which is actually the same height as newly drafted Victor Wembanyama. 1 year ago it was Tacko Fall at 7'6", but Boban and Tacko didn't have any real impact on the league. That could change with Wembanyama, as he doesn't only have center qualities but also has solid offensive moves. The last and big problem is that tall players are more susceptible to injuries. They usually have trouble staying healthy. To sum this up, it is unlikely that an 8-footer will ever join the NBA. It's a miracle that Manute Bol at 7'7" was even able to play basketball. Therefore, he might possibly stay the largest player who has joined the NBA. If you want to help my channel to grow larger, please consider subscribing, but now let's move on. The NBA basically consists of tall guys, but the real giraffes, I'm talking 7'3" and above type of players, are an exception. But when we see them, it's thrilling to watch, so let's look at some of the tallest NBA legends. One of these tower-high players was Yao Ming. He was a Chinese 7'6" center who was an 8 times All-Star, averaged 25 points and 9.4 points in one season, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame. When he joined the league, Shaq immediately disrespected him, as he wanted to make sure he remains the most dominant center in the league. But in the beginning, Shaq actually got humbled by a rookie Yao, and he ultimately earned Shaq's respect. Another NBA giraffe was Manute Bol, who we mentioned earlier. At 7'7", he led the league in blocking 2 times, but besides this, he doesn't have any outstanding feats to his name. He never averaged over 4 points or over 6 rebounds, which also shows that being that size bears a lot of difficulties. Alright, we have one more player ahead of us, so make sure to watch the video until the end for an extra recommendation. Our last tall player is Victor Wembanyama. He stands 7'4" and was the #1 draft pick in 2023. We don't know if he's going to have a great career, but what we do know is that he is the most hyped prospect since LeBron James and that he is quite entertaining to watch. We've never seen a guy that size perform spin moves, dribble the ball like this and shoot mid-range or 3-point shots. In summary, the truth about height in the NBA is that it matters. It can be a good or a bad thing. 6'7" type tall players have numerous benefits when playing basketball. On the other hand, being too small can have benefits for speed and explosiveness, but detriments for your overall game. Finally, being too tall also isn't a good thing, as it comes with many health concerns and limits your abilities on the court. I believe that we will never see a guy above 8 feet playing in the NBA. Would you agree with me? Let me know in the comments. So now you know the truth about height, but you still don't know which NBA players are going to become superstars in the upcoming seasons. So check out this video to get to know more. Seriously, just click it. I'll see you there.